People seek the followers with the idea that the followers are going to make them rich. The followers will make you famous. Understanding business will make you rich.
Do you actually have proof for that?
$1 million in profit from less than 6,000 followers.
All right, an actual case study. So what is your plan for this video?
What you can use from those strategies for yourself to get started making big money, even if you have a small audience.
All right then, what is your first insight?
And if you're going to obsess about something, these are the two things I would obsess on. Number one is the thumbnail.
That's why I created these YouTube thumbnail template. What should I do with it?
Give away everything.
For how much?
Absolutely free.
All right, link below to download it for free. To create thumbnails like this, and this in minutes. But Alex, why shouldn't I care only about views?
If you're a business owner, I would not gauge views as whether the video is good or not. It just shows how relevant it is to how many people.
That is interesting. More views just shows that it is relevant to more people, not necessarily the right people. Okay, tell me more, Alex.
Don't be afraid of the empty room. Very low views doesn't mean low revenue. It just means that it's more specific and that you're talking to a more specific person. And a specific problem being solved for a specific person is how you make big money.
So your second insight is that solving a specific problem for a specific person is how you can make a lot of money quickly. What about this case study that you talked about?
The lady who owns the company is a registered dietitian, and I'm not going to shout her. I would shout her out because I want her to get all the kudos in the world, but I don't want it to mess up what she's doing. And so that's why I'm going to keep it anonymous.
Well, I found her account. So let's ask her, what is your secret?
I'd much rather over-deliver than underserve.
What is happening right now? Like, what is going on? How is this possible?
I mean, I'm just good at research. Out of respect, I won't share her account, obviously, but can she speak more clearly?
I'd much rather over-deliver than underserve.
Aha. Alex, do you agree with her insight?
If you are somebody who has a very specific niche that you're good at, I would highly encourage you to just make the content that gets 40 views, that gets 100 likes, that you know for sure will help a very specific person, because when you do help that very specific person, they will like you a lot more than many people who like you a little bit. The people who like you a lot are the ones who buy from you.
All right, Alex, but how do we actually measure if we are reaching the right people?
You just have views as a metric, then you kind of do chase wider because it was the only real metric we were tracking. And we didn't really have anything better at the time, and since we focused on. Since then, we've transitioned to ad revenue. And here's why. Ad revenue takes into account views, but it has a second metric that's paired with it, which is RPMs, which is revenue per 1,000 eyeballs. So if YouTube pays lots of money for the eyeball, then it means they're more valuable. And if they're more valuable to the advertiser, they're more valuable to me.
There is some truth in that, but still a big belief that higher RPMs means more buyers. Doesn't sound like the best metric for small personal brands.
Fight me.
No.
Your business metrics don't follow your vanity metrics. There.
So Alex, does it mean that we just accept the low view counts?
Sometimes you hit it out the park and you actually get both. So my highest revenue per view video also happens to be my most viewed video. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a lot of views, the RPMs are low. No, not at all.
Okay, now tell us more about this lady.
She's a registered dietitian. She takes home just under $1 million a year helping other registered dietitians bill insurance correctly. And so it's super niche in terms of what she's really good at. So she knows how to be an RD and help people bill insurance codes properly. And so the average, I think, dietitian adds like $100,000 in income using just like her kind of coding system for billing them, right? Crazy niche. Crazy niche.
But then Code, who has 850,000 subscribers, all tells us we are the niche. You want to fight him?
Jordan, why do you bring such a high intensity every single time?
All right, Alex, I will ask you calmly. Should we niche down?
Niche content will make you a hell of a lot more money if that's what you're actually selling.
So what about this lady? What does she talk about in her content?
She doesn't talk about nutrition at all. She just talks about how to be a registered dietitian and bill insurance properly and get credentialized and do this whole process that apparently is a big pain in the butt.
Can you go more in depth in her content strategy?
Her content was consistent, and she said, yeah, I do one post and I do one story every day. And but she was like super proud of it. I was like, this is adorable and also crazy. But the posts that she talks about, 100% of them are about billing insurance as a registered dietitian. Like, could not be more niche. You couldn't even think of one, right? Maybe I couldn't even imagine one. And despite that, she's making the sales that she is.
All right, so then tell us, how did she start making sales?
And she was like, you know what? I got my first sale when I had 8 people on my email list. And I was like, that's nuts. And she was like, yeah, so it was really confirming for me that like there's people were listening. And so I was like, well, how big is your email list now? And she's been doing this for a few years. 2,900 people on her email list. And she makes sales from emails. And it was such a great great reset for me. It was such a good nudge as a reminder that the view count you have on the other side, the 19 likes, like there's a real person on the other side of this that is watching your clip that has 5 views. There's a real person who's opening up your emails when you have a list that has 300 people. People are watching, people are listening.
All right, so for the 8 people who are watching this video, can you share more about her sales strategy?
So she's doing 10 plus sales a day at a low ticket price and doing 3-ish sales a week at a higher ticket price. And when I say higher ticket, I'm talking like $4,000 or $5,000 type price point, and then a lower ticket thing for just like some cheat sheets of like, here's all the codes and this is how you can do them, whatever. And 10 a day.
Whoa, Alex, you don't have to shout.
Jordan, fight me.
No, just tell us, how did she start making sales?
She just had every other post just had a, by the way, there's a link in my bio that has more stuff that you might like. That was it. That was the whole strategy.
Ah, call to action.
If you don't do this, because I wasn't, you get all of these impressions and like eyeballs and stuff and you'll get followers, but like you don't drive a result.
Okay, so even if we get 100 views a video, how do you recommend we start directing them?
And so the way that we did it was we recorded 2 versions of each of the call to action. So like call to actions to other channels, lead medics, share or tag. If you have a lower ticket product, I don't, but like, or if, you know, for me, I guess I have a book, it's 99 cents. You know, leave a review if you want to ask for clients or, you know, send a question, or there's my book there, Grant Slam offer. So I would just record 2 different CTAs for that, and then I just inject them into the content. So this is what it might look like. So it's like you have your CTA 1, content, mid-roll, content, end off.
Interesting. But where should I put the link to the free thumbnail templates?
You want to put it above the fold. So you want to have to be the first thing that somebody sees before they even click see more is where you want to drive them. You can also, pro tip, put the first comment that you have in the comment section, just pin that comment. So that gives you 2 different places. And third, inside the video where you can drive traffic. This is just something that I've learned over time.
Okay, but what should I absolutely avoid with call to actions?
I think the problem is less about CTAs. I think it's more that there's not enough value in general. And so it's like if you make the video and half of it's CTA, there's just not enough value. You haven't like deposited enough to create motivation for somebody to take action. And so as long as you have a banging video, like you can put CTAs in. It's just don't take up a huge amount of time. Let them know what is it, why is it important, how do they get it? Keep it very simple.
So these are like 30 seconds in the middle?
Oh, I think they're even less than that. They're just like, hey, if you like this and you're trying to grow your company, I was like, we just started acquisition.com workshop division. It's like, so if you're, you know, 1 to 20 million, I was like, it's probably a good set for you. You can check it out. See you there. And that's it.
All right. So then do you also recommend allocating more time, more priority, more urgency, more focus into creating long form videos rather than shorts because we have more time to inject call to actions?
I think it's a width and depth thing. I think the shorts give you a lot of breadth. I think the longs give you a lot of depth. And so there's a visual that I put together that took me too long to say that same thing.
I would say differently. The more attention you can hold, the more money you can make. And with long form, I have found it easier to hold the attention of the right people for longer, which is the goal, right?
It really wasn't about the content at all. It was about the audience. What I didn't understand was the content you create isn't the compounding asset. The audience is.
Yes, content fades, audience stays. So make sure you build the right one and avoid getting millions of views like me, only to find out the following.
If you don't know what is constraining your business, you are the constraint. And what I mean by that is like your lack of knowledge. And so ignorance is the biggest debt we all pay for not knowing how to do the things we should.
Ignorance is the biggest debt we all pay for not knowing how to do the things we should.
For me, having absolute clarity on the one thing that's holding my business back means that every waking hour I have is dedicated to solving that problem. And sometimes that solving that problem might take a year and a half.
Yeah, for me, that was building my personal brand, even though I did $5 million in revenue and hired 50 people. So 1.5 years ago, I started to post long form videos again because you said this.
Building an audience is the most valuable thing I've ever done.
And I grew that new channel from 0 to 5,000 subscribers in less than 7 months, only to find out that growing the right audience is much more important than a large one.
So just because you get more views doesn't mean you get more revenue. Just because you get more subs doesn't mean you get more opt-in, right? For your website or for whatever it is that you sell. You don't get sales from that stuff. Subscribers don't mean sales.
Yeah. I experienced that firsthand. So I did this 6-month YouTube experiment and got 600,000 views since then. But Alex, what if this whole YouTube thing doesn't work out?
So you have 2 options. One is you can say, I will never do content again. I mean, that's like taking the logical extreme. Like that's it. I will never try again. I am so fragile that me putting an hour into a video and it not working out, that I will forever forego a free form of advertising that could get me customers.
I don't feel like you take me serious, Alex. What about the second option?
Give up now.
No, Alex, seriously. What can we practically do if we are not making enough money from YouTube?
Have is volume negates luck. That's in the sales team, locker room, same thing in the media team. Is that we will create more and we will just basically have constraints on where, like the direction of what we're creating, but we will keep making as much as we can in different ways to find out what works even better than our first whack at it.
I see. So how does this look like for you or your media team?
Make 10 videos that you spend an hour on, and you just look at the one that did better of the 10. You say, what did this one have that the other ones didn't? And then you do more of that.
Yeah, I actually did that, Alex, during my 6-month algorithm experiment. But what did you discover that your best videos had?
And so when I looked at the top YouTube videos I had, the ones that were the top 10 all had proof promise plan.
Now it gets interesting. Tell me more.
It's about value per second, not seconds of value.
If you want to know what he means with that, watch this video next. Talk soon.